A pleasant day, everyone. I am Johari Tiliambona, but you can call me Mr. Lim. Today is a brand new day, and it is a great way to start discussing new lessons. But before we formally begin discussing new lessons, let's have first a short motivational activity to warm us up. So, the title of our motivational activity is Story Circle Gas the Tail. So, here are the mechanics and instructions for this short motivational activity. Number one, students will sit in a circular arrangement to encourage engagement and discussion. Secondarily, the teacher will describe a folktale without naming the story or revealing its characters. And lastly, students must listen carefully and try to identify which tale is being described based on the details provided. And before you finally state your answer, you have to describe your answer in 3 sentences, or you have to explain your answer in 3 sentences. So the first one to raise his hand will be the one to answer. If his answer is incorrect, the other students have a chance to steal. And after I describe the tale, I will flash a picture so that you will have a mental picture of what is being described. Okay, are we clear on that? Okay. So I will be discussing Visayan folktales. Particularly, I will be discussing two of the most famous Visayan folktales, of course, from Visayas. So again, good morning everyone, and I am Johari Tilimbona, and you can call me Mr. Lim. So if you have any questions during my presentation, you can raise your hand so that I could address your questions right away. Are we clear on that? Okay, good. Now, so here are the objectives of this lesson. So firstly, appreciate Visayan folktales. Secondarily, identify the key elements of a story. And thirdly, evaluate and analyze the moral values presented in Visayan folk stories. And lastly or fourthly, students should join creative storytelling groups while engaging in group discussion sessions. And I wish that we could achieve these learning objectives at the end of our discussion today. But of course, before I formally begin with our first story, there are some questions that I want to ask you. So if you want to answer, you can raise your hand. But if no one raises his hand, I will be the one to call a name. So our first question here is, how can you tell if someone is being greedy? Do you know what does greedy mean? Greedy means that being selfish with wealth or power. It means being selfish. Okay. Okay. Does anyone want to answer? Okay, Mr. Hamza. Okay, that's great. I love your answer. Now, let us move on to the next question. Why do you think people want more than they need? Okay, this is a great question. I want you to answer, and there is no wrong answer in this class. I just want to hear your opinion because these questions are relevant to our first story that I am about to share with you. Yes, Mr. Nasser. Okay, now let us begin with our first story today. The Legend of Bakunawa by Alfred Beiser. Okay, now I will be showing you a video and you have to watch carefully and attentively because after the video or after showing the video, I will be summarizing it, and then after that, I will be asking you to identify the key elements of the story. Are we clear on that? Okay, good. Now let us begin. I'll summarize the video for you. So, a long time ago, there was a big and magical sea dragon named Bakunawa. He was so big that he could fly up to the sky. And in the sky, there are 7 beautiful moons created by Bathala that made the night pretty and bright. But Bakunawa loves the moons so much, so he wants to keep them all. So one night, he flew to the sky and ate one of the 7 moons. People were sad and scared. So they made noises and banged their drums to scare Bakunawa away. It works, but it did not stop Bakunawa from eating the remaining 6 moons. Bakunawa kept going to the sky and devouring the remaining moons until only one moon is left. So every time that the moon is slowly disappearing, just like during lunar eclipse, it means that Bakunawa is trying to eat it again. And people have to make noises and bang their drums to scare him away. So that is the summary of the legend of Bakunawa or ang alamat ng Bakunawa. Just like what I have told you earlier, you will have to identify the key elements from the story. And now you have to identify these key elements from the legend of Bakunawa. Now let us move on to the second and last story that we have today. And just like what we did in the first story, there are some interesting questions that I want you to answer. Okay? Are we clear on that instruction? Okay. So the first question is, how is your relationship with your parents? Yes, Miss Jamira? I really love her answer because she is being honest and she raises her hand to answer this question, and I just appreciate that. Although the relationship with her parents is not perfect, at least they are there for each other and they show kindness and love towards one another, and I just love that fact from her answer. Now let us move on to the second question. Can you remember a time when your parent or guardian got upset with you and why? Yes, Miss Makabangon. I really love her answer because it takes immense courage to answer this question, especially that it involves your parents or guardians getting mad at you. But she is just being honest with herself. And the most important thing is that she learns from her experiences. Now, for our final question, what does it mean to be a good son or daughter? Yes, Mr. Amar. Wow, I am amazed with how Mr. Amar answers my question. And I just appreciate that he is able to articulate his thoughts and he is not afraid to share his ideas. Let us move on to the second story. So the second story is entitled Ang Alamat ng Pinya by Uge Rivera. I think whether you are in middle school or you are in grade school, you are familiar with this story because this is a very famous and well-known story from Visayas. Now let us begin the story. So, a long time ago, there was a kind and loving mother named Aling Rosa. Aling Rosa has a sweet daughter named Pinang. Pinang is sweet, but she is lazy. Every time Aling Rosa asks for Pinang's help, Pinang would always say that she does not know anything about it or she could not find it. Even the thing that she was looking for is already in front of her. One night, Aling Rosa has finally decided to teach Pinang on how to do chores. But Pinang, as you can see in the illustration, she looks frustrated and she does not want to learn how to do chores. So she refuses to learn. Until one night, Aling Rosa got sick. She was lying on her bed and she told Pinang to look after her and look after their house. Pinang did not listen, but instead, Pinang plays outside. She goes to their neighbor and she left her mom. And one time, while Aling Rosa was sleeping on her bed, Pinang cooks a lugaw but she leaves the lugaw unattended, which almost led to burning their entire house. Pinang's behavior continues in a cycle of neglect and excuses. She looks upset as she searches for posporo and sandok in the kitchen. Now that Aling Rosa is sick, Pinang has to do the household chores by herself, and she does not like them. Until one evening, Aling Rosa could not help herself. She confronted Pinang and she said the famous line, "Sana ay magkaroon ka ng maraming mata." Or in English translation, "I wish you had many eyes." What do you think happened next after the confrontation of Aling Rosa and her daughter? What do you usually do when you get scolded by your parents? Okay, let us move on to the next scene of the story. Of course, because Pinang was scolded, she left their house. She went outside, but she never came back. Aling Rosa searches for her, but Pinang did not return. The next morning, Aling Rosa keeps searching for her daughter Pinang because Pinang has never returned since that evening when Pinang left. Her neighbors shake their head. They said that they have not seen Pinang for a while now. Until one morning, while Aling Rosa is in their backyard, she saw a strange plant with spiky and many eyes. She gently touches it. She cried because she remembers the words that she said to Pinang before Pinang left her. And that is how the story ended. Now, you have to identify these key elements in the story. Let us move on to the morals of the story. I think one most significant lesson that we can learn from the story is that no matter how bad a person is, don't wish anything bad towards her. Because one way or another, it will come back to you in the most unexpected way. Remember that in the story, the mother wishes that her daughter had many eyes. But when it happens, she regrets her words. She cried when she saw the plant. It only reminds us that words are powerful. They can make or break a person. Because the pain that you feel when someone says hurtful words towards you is paramount to physical pain. And I think we should be someone who makes other people feel comfortable rather than someone who makes other people feel uncomfortable. We must be careful and mindful of our words and actions because when we say something, we cannot take it back. This is your final activity today. Just read the instructions. For your assignment, here are the instructions for your assignment. Just read them and follow them. Here are the references that I use in today's lessons. And that ends our lessons today. So I hope that you learned something today, learners, and see you again next meeting.